milk. Oh yeah, baby, let's talk about the beautiful business of milk today. Yeah, yeah. I got milk. Let's talk about milk. Oh yeah, baby, let's talk about the beautiful business of milk today.
This podcast episode called Got Milk, the Indian Dairy Context.
I love that name.
I know, right?
Catchy.
It's really catchy.
Yeah.
Have you ever listened to Got Milk?
I have. It's a really great podcast.
Yeah.
They're gaining a lot of traction.
Yeah.
And they're really going in depth into a lot of the issues and potential solutions surrounding the Indian dairy industry.
Yeah, they go really, really deep. And the hosts of this show have very interesting names. They go by Sahiwal and Gir.
I love that.
Now, for people who don't know, are those...
If you're familiar with Indian cow breeds, you'll know that they are named after two of India's most famous breeds.
Okay.
The Sahiwal and the Gir breeds.
So they're clearly very much into dairy.
Big dairy fans.
Yeah. So before we get into it, I do want to mention that this episode is sponsored by Shunya Agritech. Now, they are doing some really interesting things over there at Shunya Agritech.
They are.
They have this platform called Fodder as a Service.
Yes.
Have you heard of this?
I have. And, it's so interesting to think about because when we think about India's dairy industry, we think about millions of cows, but we don't often think about the complex infrastructure that goes into sustaining that.
Right.
And fodder, of course, being the cow's primary food source, that plays a huge role.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what they're doing is they're basically growing fodder hydroponically.
Right.
So without soil, and then they deliver it fresh to dairy farmers every day through a subscription service.
It's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting approach. And I guess it must be working because their subscription renewal rates are through the roof.
They're off the charts.
Yeah, so they must be doing something right. And for our listeners, they are offering a 10-day trial at an incredibly low price. So if you're interested in learning more about this, definitely check that out.
Today, we're going to be tackling artificial insemination in livestock, specifically in India.
Right.
Now, you might think, okay, getting cows pregnant, we got it.
Right.
But hold on, because we're going way beyond the basics here.
Okay.
We've got policy papers, we've got breeding data, and even some cutting-edge research that reveals just how complex this seemingly simple process can actually be.
Yeah, it's really a classic case of something that looks incredibly successful just on the surface. I mean, India is the world's top milk producer now, largely thanks to AI, but when you look closer, there are all these fascinating challenges that impact everything from a farmer's bottom line to the future of breeding.
That's exactly what caught my attention.
Okay.
This policy paper from the National Academy of Agricultural Sciences paints a picture of this AI boom.
Okay.
Milk production has increased over 1,100% since 1951.
Wow.
But here's the kicker. They say that only about 30% of eligible animals are actually using AI.
Interesting.
So the question is, why wouldn't farmers jump at this chance after decades of success?
Yeah, well, the paper dives into that, and some of the reasons pretty surprising.
Okay.
You'd think access to AI would be the main issue, but it goes way beyond that.
Okay.
One of the biggest hurdles is that conception rates with AI are actually lower than with natural breeding.
Wow.
Imagine being a farmer and investing in this technology only to find out it's less effective than the old-fashioned way.
Talk about a breeding bottleneck.
Right.
That would definitely make me think twice before going all in on AI.
Sure.
Are there other factors at play here?
Absolutely. The paper also points out that finding bulls with both top-notch genes and high fertility is like winning the genetic lottery.
Oh, wow.
You could spend a fortune raising a bull only to discover it's a dud when it comes to producing viable sperm.
So you're saying there's a risk of literally betting the farm on the wrong bull?
Exactly. And even when you find that prized bull, semen quality can still vary.
Really?
Plus, there are concerns about relying on antibiotics in semen processing, which is a whole other discussion.
Okay, so we've got economic concerns about cost effectiveness.
Right.
And then these biological limitations with the bulls themselves. What other roadblocks are standing in the way of AI reaching its full potential?
One of the trickiest aspects highlighted in the paper is knowing when a cow is actually ready for insemination. They call it estrus, which is essentially that narrow window when a cow is fertile.
Yeah.
If you miss that window, you've wasted time, resources, and money.
Yeah, it's like trying to hit a moving target.
Yeah.
I imagine that's a huge source of stress for farmers who are already working on tight margins.
You nailed it.
Okay.
The paper says that many farmers still rely on visual cues to detect estrus, which are notoriously unreliable. Think about it. A missed cycle for a high-producing cow can cost thousands in lost milk production.
Right.
That's a financial hit no farmer wants to take.
So we've got this expensive, complex process.
Yeah.
That isn't even as effective as natural breeding. And on top of that, it's difficult to know when to even use it.
Right.
No wonder AI adoption isn't higher.
Yeah.
Are there any solutions in sight?
There's definitely hope. Researchers are exploring ways to improve estrus detection.
Okay.
Like sensor systems that track behavioral changes and even analyzing milk for hormonal fluctuations.
Interesting.
Imagine having a tool that could tell you exactly when a cow is ready for insemination.
Right.
That would be a game changer. That kind of technology could really significantly boost those AI success rates and save farmers a lot of headache.
Yeah.
But even with better estrus detection, we still have the issue of semen itself.
Right.
Remember how we were talking about the challenges of finding those genetically superior, super fertile bulls?
Oh, yeah, the bull lottery. What's being done to address that problem?
Well, imagine being able to look at sperm under a super high-powered microscope and pick out the strongest swimmers.
Wow.
That's essentially what researchers are working on now.
Really?
With these advanced imaging techniques and molecular diagnostics.
Okay.
They're trying to assess sperm quality on a whole new level.
So it's not just about quantity, but quality.
Exactly.
Are they actually trying to create, like, super sperm?
In a way, yes.
Wow.
By being able to better predict that bull fertility and select the most viable sperm,
Right.
we can improve the odds of successful AI.
Okay.
The paper even talks about techniques to preserve only the highest quality sperm.
Wow. Talk about giving those little swimmers a fighting chance.
Right?
Seems like science is really stepping up to tackle these AI hurdles.
Uh-huh.
But let's not forget about those other livestock species we mentioned earlier.
Right.
Sheep, goats, pigs.
Yeah.
Are they just being left behind in this AI revolution?
The paper acknowledges that there's a huge opportunity to expand AI to these species.
Okay.
Especially as demand for their meat grows.
Yeah.
But as you might expect, it's not as simple as just using the same techniques that we use for cows and buffalo.
What makes it so challenging to apply AI to other livestock?
Well, for some species, their semen is actually harder to freeze and preserve effectively. Plus, the actual insemination process can be more complex due to their anatomy.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly.
Each species needs its own tailored AI strategy.
Right.
But if we could crack the code for these other animals, the impact on food production could be incredible.
Absolutely. It's about diversifying our protein sources.
Right.
And ensuring a sustainable food supply for a growing population.
Okay, so we've covered some pretty innovative solutions to the problems facing AI. But we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Sex selection.
Right.
This paper mentions that farmers could soon be choosing
to have mostly female calves.
Yeah.
Isn't that messing with nature?
It's definitely a complex issue.
Okay.
The technology is already being used in some places, and from a purely economic standpoint, it makes sense for dairy farmers to have more female calves.
Sure.
But it does raise some ethical questions about manipulating natural processes and skewing sex ratios.
Yeah, it's like we're playing God a little bit, isn't it?
Right.
What happens to the next generation of bulls?
Exactly.
If everyone is just producing females?
That's a great point. The paper highlights the need for careful regulation and consideration of the long-term impacts of these sex selection technologies.
Yeah.
We don't want to solve one problem only to create a whole new set of challenges.
It seems like every solution we've discussed comes with its own set of considerations and potential consequences.
Yeah.
It really underscores the importance of approaching AI in livestock with this holistic view.
Considering not just the science, but also the ethics and long-term sustainability.
I couldn't agree more. This deep dive has really shown us that AI is a powerful tool with incredible potential. But it needs to be wielded responsibly. It requires ongoing research, open dialogue, and a commitment to finding solutions that benefit both humans and animals.
We've certainly uncovered a lot of layers to this seemingly simple topic.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting cows pregnant. It's about navigating this complex web of scientific advancements, economic considerations, and ethical dilemmas.
It really is.
What stands out to you as the most crucial takeaway from all of this information?
I think the key message here is that we can't just focus on the immediate gains of a technology like AI. We need to be mindful of the potential pitfalls and unintended consequences. This deep dive has really highlighted the importance of informed decision-making, collaboration, and continuous evaluation as we move forward with AI in livestock.
It sounds like the future of AI in livestock really hinges on striking that delicate balance between progress and responsibility. But what does that future actually look like? Does this policy paper give us any clues?
It definitely points towards some exciting possibilities. One area that really caught my eye is the research into non-invasive estrus detection. Imagine being able to tell exactly when a cow is fertile without having to rely on those visual cues or invasive procedures.
That would take so much guesswork out of the equation.
Exactly.
What kind of technology are we talking about here?
Researchers are exploring a variety of methods, from using sensors to track behavioral changes in the cows, to analyzing milk or even saliva for hormonal fluctuations. It's like having a window into their reproductive cycles.
It sounds like science fiction becoming reality. So we've got better estrus detection on the horizon. What about those other challenges? Are there any promising solutions for improving semen quality and bull fertility?
Remember those high-powered microscopes we talked about? Well, researchers are using those and other advanced techniques to analyze sperm on a molecular level. They're trying to identify biomarkers that indicate sperm quality and predict bull fertility with much greater accuracy.
So it's like we're zooming in on the sperm's DNA to find the strongest contenders. What happens once we've identified those super sperm?
That's where things get really interesting. The paper talks about techniques to actually select and preserve only the highest quality sperm. It's all about maximizing the chances of successful insemination.
It's like we're giving those little swimmers a VIP pass to fertilization.
Exactly.
It sounds like we're on the cusp of a major breakthrough in AI technology.
Absolutely. And this research isn't just limited to cows and buffalo. Scientists are also looking at ways to adapt these technologies for other livestock species. The goal is to make AI more accessible and effective across the board.
That makes sense, especially with the growing demand for diverse protein sources. But let's be real, all this advanced technology probably comes with a hefty price tag.
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
The paper acknowledges that cost is a major barrier to AI adoption, especially for small-scale farmers.
Sure.
But they also emphasize that investing in research and development now could lead to more affordable solutions in the long run.
It's like that saying, you have to spend money to make money.
Right.
But beyond the financial aspect, are there any other challenges we need to consider as we move forward with these advanced AI technologies?
One thing that the paper really stresses is the importance of training and education. It's not enough to just have the technology. People need to know how to use it properly and ethically.
That's a crucial point. We need skilled technicians who understand both the science and the practical aspects of AI. And what about the ethical considerations? We've touched on things like sex selection and the potential for unintended consequences. How do we ensure that AI is used responsibly?
The paper advocates for a multi-pronged approach.
Okay.
They call for stricter regulations, ongoing monitoring, and open dialogue between scientists, farmers, policymakers, and the public.
Yeah.
It's about ensuring transparency and accountability every step of the way.
It sounds like the future of AI in livestock is a shared responsibility.
Absolutely.
We all have a role to play in shaping how this technology evolves and impacts our food systems.
We do.
So we've explored the problems, the potential solutions, and the ethical considerations surrounding artificial insemination. It's been a fascinating journey from the microscopic world of sperm to the global implications of food production.
And it all started with that simple question. Why isn't AI being used more widely if it's so successful? It turns out the answer is far more complex than we initially thought.
This deep dive has really highlighted the importance of looking beyond the surface and understanding that intricate web of factors that influence something as seemingly straightforward as getting cows pregnant.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even the most groundbreaking technologies come with their own set of challenges and opportunities.
For sure.
And ultimately, it's up to us to use this knowledge wisely to shape a future where AI and livestock benefits both humans and animals.
Lots to ponder, for sure, and that's what we love about the deep dives, giving you the information and the spark to keep exploring.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, happy learning.